Welcome everyone. Today is October 7th. We're cutting soybeans today. We have two combines running. So let's hop in the cab and you can see my view from my fall office. So in the spring of 2020, for the most part, our planting was very timely. We had a cold snap in mid-April that delayed us a little bit, and then we really got going in May and finished up at the end of May. So for the most part, our planting was on time. Growing season for 2020 was pretty good overall. Once we got the crop in, we had pretty good summer weather for the crops. Yields are showing that as well. Currently we are very dry right now, which has helped us here at harvest. We're ahead of schedule as far as harvest goes. Since our last video in August, we've had very little rain. We've had the driest September on record in Indianapolis with just 0.2 of an inch of rain. We are classified now as a D1 drought. We're very dry. That has progressed our harvest along. We're on a record fast-paced harvest. Within the next 7-10 days we'll be done with soybeans, and we're on track to be very early harvest. With the drier conditions though, that has helped us from grain quality standpoint. Our corn is drying naturally in the field, which will help improve the quality that our exporters will see coming out this next marketing cycle. So because we're not having to spend so much gas to dry and commercially or artificially dry the crop, the quality, we won't have near as many fractures in it from this area, from West Central Indiana. We're expected to continue to have a dry fall here with La Nina coming in. So we're going to continue to see a fast pace to the harvest. The quality of the crop is very good, very little disease, very little aflatoxin. The dry weather did not come in time to affect any gibberella, mycotoxins, or aflatoxins to the crop here in Indiana. We've had very little diplodia issues this year. Overall, it's been a very, very good year, and I would expect to see very good quality grain. We've harvested almost 500 acres of corn. Test weights running above average at about 57 to 58 pounds per bushel. And the soybean crop, as you can see, it's drying down. We're actually getting the beans pretty dry. They're about 10 to 11% moisture right now. Our yields are currently running slightly above expectations. We've shelled about 500 acres of corn that has been pretty good. It was slightly above our historical average. Soybeans seem to be doing pretty good as well. Quality has been excellent. The soybeans are coming out fine. The corn, very little damage in it. With our current warm, dry fall, we're not having to dry the corn down as much. It's dry naturally in the field. So that should really help the quality of the corn. Today we're cutting our non-GMO soybeans. These are regular, traditional dark Highland soybeans. These beans will be sold to a crush facility in Lafayette, Indiana. From there, they'll go to a chicken feeding operation, which will then sell and market and label the chicken as fed non-GMO crop. We had to flush all the system out of it, and then so there's no contamination from the previous crop we were harvesting. And then we kept them separate all the way through, and they're in their own storage tank waiting for delivery. So one of the things that we're still working on, as we mentioned in the previous video, was the food grade beans. We have started harvesting some of those. They've gone into the individual tank waiting for delivery. They probably won't come out of the bin till April. So we've harvested them, stored them. We'll keep them in good shape in the bin until delivery sometime in March or April. So that is one of the things that we're working at expanding, is premium markets, where we're trying to find people who want a specific grade of bean or corn and raise it and deliver it for them. And I think that will continue to increase in the future, not only for us, but for the industry as a whole, as the IP, identity preserve, and traceability of the grain back to even right down to the Pacific field, so we can document through blockchain technology what has happened to this crop all the way through till it's delivered to the processor, and then from them out to the consumer. Okay, some of the technology we're using on the farm today with GPS is actually recording the yield from the combine on the yield monitor here, in addition to auto steering. So I push a button, it engages the auto steer, and the combine will steer itself through the field here. When I get to the end or need to drive around obstacle, I just take control of the wheel again. What's neat about the yield monitoring system here is that this is actually loading up into the cloud, and then it'll download, and I can have access to all my yield data from the phone. I can also remote in with the other combine and look at his screen from my phone. So if he's having issues with something on the combine, I can look from anywhere. I have a cell phone connection and see what's happening with his machine, check the settings, check the loss, actually look at the grain quality coming in. There's high-speed cameras in there, so I can actually see what the machine is doing from a grain quality standpoint, efficiency. So with this technology, this is the base for all of our agronomic decisions, from fertility management, any input, seed. The biggest thing that we track is performance of soybean varieties and corn hybrids, and making sure that we're not leaving yield on the table by planting the wrong hybrid. With just a little bit tweaking yield, that has a huge impact on our financial statement. So it's very important for us to have good, solid data, accurate data for us to make decisions on. And it all starts with the yield monitor. And a lot of this technology really makes it easy to communicate between both machines, that I can actually track what the other combine is harvesting here on this screen, and that data is relayed between both machines. So we get a high quality map and data from both combines as we progress through the field. Then from here, this after harvest, I come in and look at yield by soil type, by management approach, so seeding rates, how much fertility I put out. If I change seeding rates or anything, I can go in and pull that data back out through a GIS system that I'm using on desktop, and that really helps us fine-tune our management approach for next season. I'd like to take this time now and point out another conservation practice that we employ on our farm. This is what's called a dry dam, and the purpose of this structure here is to capture the surface flow of water coming through here and slow it down, slow the speed down here so it doesn't cause any gullies and wash out the field. So what happens is when it rains, the water comes in here, collects in this basin, and then drains through this standpipe to an underground pipe that runs on down the ravine here. We have several of these structures here, so the capture the surface flow and keep the sediment in the field and out of our water.